Good evening, good evening, good evening, guys. How's everyone doing today? I am super excited because this is Let's Talk About It Tuesday, right? And I am honored because I am here with Dr. Regina Turner, and she is going to talk about pushing through obstacles to become successful in order to be successful and build your home based business. So, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Regina Turner.
Peace and blessings. You're most welcome. I'm appreciative. I'm humbled for the invitation.
Yes, yes, yes. So there were three things specifically that you mentioned when we were talking about the obstacles that you wanted to touch on. And let's just get right into it. So the first one that you mentioned was fear.
Absolutely. When you have fear in your business, home based business, everybody is fearful. That is to be expected because you're moving out of your comfort zone. So, whenever you're moving out of your comfort zone, you're going to have a lot of trepidations, fear. You're going to let people be in your ear. So, you're going to have a lot of noises. So, you have to learn how to be focused and have that resiliency that's going to help catapult you to overcome that fear. Because even when you're fearful, like now, I'm a little fearful, but I know that this is what God wants us to do. So therefore, I am His creator. So therefore, I have to move in the likeness and image that He have created us to be. So therefore, there is no fear. They're only just minor detours, okay? Because we're doing something totally different, which I'm comfortable with speaking in front of a lot of people. But sometimes when you think about it, if you just give your brain that 1 ounce to think about it, then you're going to become fearful, then you mess up, then you're worrying about the wrong things. So therefore, we have to make sure that we're comfortable and that we're relaxed. And when you feel that fear coming on, you have to be cognizant of it and overcome it. You have to continuously do your affirmations like I do every day. And I set my day up so that I'm not fearful throughout the day.
So, what are some things that you actually do to help you overcome those fears? What are some of your techniques?
Well, some of the techniques that I utilize is the day before. So, like today for tomorrow, I'm going to set my day up how my mindset is going to be, how much time I spend with mindset building, with self improvement, basically listening to my mentors, making sure that they're constantly in my head so that I can overcome the if bad information that we were taught when we were growing up. So I have to get rid of those negative thinking. So therefore, I have to write the vision and make it plain so I can run with it. If I don't have it on paper, I can't very well run with it. And if I don't put it on paper, I can't visualize it. So what I visualize, I'm going to materialize and bring it into manifestation. And that's what we've been commissioned to do is bring it into manifestation. I also say affirmations that put me in a positive light because it's the energy that we exude that's going to basically keep us in that state of mind of positivity and attract what we desire.
Yes, yes, yes. So manifestation, right? Affirmations, writing down the things that you want and desire are all excellent things that we can do. And I do practice some of those techniques as well. And I do see that when I actually start doing my affirmations regularly, right? And actually writing them down and following through on them. I see that it actually does work. So those are excellent strategies to overcome fear because a lot of times what they say is our ego is what is in the way. And we think that we're supposed to be somewhere doing something specific when really we just need to let things happen and kind of stay the course and pay attention to our affirmations and things that we wrote down and just keep pushing through to actually reach our destination.
Absolutely. And then you just said something that was key, ego. And the acronym, I love acronyms because basically it's part of the affirmation process to manifestation. Ego is easing God out, and we never want to ease him out because he's in control. As long as we keep him first and foremost on our journey, then our day is going to come out the way he planned, even though we planned some things, but he may take us on a detour. So we have to be ready for those detours. But as long as we wrote down what he has implanted within us, then they're going to come to fruition. So that's a great technique to have.
Yes, excellent. So let's go to number two, which is the thing that drives me crazy because it used to be a thing for me, but not so much anymore. But you talked about how the fact that we worry so much about what people think is another obstacle for us in building our home-based business. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
Okay, what we basically worry about in our home-based business, especially if it's something totally new to us, we are so concerned and consumed with what other people are going to think. We even allow them to talk us out of a great decision that we've already made up in our mind because we're so used to worrying about what others think, how they see us, how we look. So therefore, all those thoughts are going through your head. That's why it's best that you have a mindset shift, be able to shift with the paradigm that your mind is shifting in, so that this way you don't be fearful, and this way you're able to now stay on track and on the mark.
Yes, yes. So how do you actually get past that worrying about what people think? Because that can be
Yeah,
difficult.
you have to get a mentor. You have to make sure that you're investing in yourself, especially self-care. Because if you're out of sync and your mind is all over the place, that's why mind and self-development is very important, because now we're able to stay on track and now we can filter out that noise, because I call other people's decision and thinking of me noise. So I have to be able to just block them out and just ask God, please give me the strength. Continuously pray. That's why the Bible says we are to continuously pray, always pray, so that this way we letting Him guide us and not worried about what the outside audience is trying to tell us, because that's only the devil and his imps trying to get in your head to stop you from being great.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, are there any personal growth or self-development tools or books or things that you can recommend that people can use so that they can start building that confidence?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a plethora of books that I've read, but I love Jim Rohn and I love John C. Maxwell, because he talks about you improving yourself, making sure that you're doing the things that's going to be in alignment with what God has for you. Not only that, Eric Thomas, he's new on the scene from where I come from, is different because he's utilizing everything that came out the Bible, like the law, the law of the secret law. You know what book I'm talking about, The Secret. All of those principles came out of the Bible. So once we're able to attain those goals and just stick to the Bible and basically read those things that basically mirror that, then we're going to be great. We're going to be able to overcome whatever obstacles, because I tell you, in my life, I've had many and I'm still overcoming them. So I'm just grateful to God for just giving me the strength, and also for having a community. And that's what I love about us being in partnership, because we have a community, encourage each other. And that's what we have to do. Even for the strong people that we think are strong, we have to also feed back into them. The law of reciprocity have to be in effect, because if we don't do that, then we can't be great or be good steward over what God has given us.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Because we sometimes bypass our leaders because we see or we think that they have it all together because they're the one that's actually teaching us how to be better business owners or better people. But we have to remember that our leaders and our mentors are people as well, and they can't pour out of an empty cup. So at some point they also need to fill back up their cup. And sometimes their confidence may be shaken a little bit because maybe things aren't going as smooth as they usually do, or things are different. So now they need to pivot, but they need the same support that we need, even if they are leaders or mentors to everyone else.
Exactly.
Yep.
We have to always make sure our cup is filled too, that we're giving out from the overflow, not from the reserve. People get it backwards. They're trying to give out from the reserve. So if you give out from your reserve, then you're not going to be able to hold yourself accountable. So we have to be cognizant of that as well.
Yes, that's exactly it. I always say that you can't pour out of an empty cup. I'm sorry. It's just not possible at all. So let's get into the third obstacle, which you mentioned sickness, but you also switched it and added life in general as an obstacle. What are some things that actually, how is it that life stops us or kind of holds us back from building that home-based business that we desire?
Okay, well, most people know my testimony, but you may not be familiar with it. 21 years ago, I was assaulted at work. And you know what? It was an answer to my prayer, unbeknownst to me, the way that it was going to occur. That's why the Bible says, be careful about what you pray for, because you never know how it's going to manifest itself. So I used to drive the bus for New York City Transit Authority, and I was at the bus at the light, and I was saying, Lord, I know there's more that you have for your daughter to do. So what is it? I know just going back and forth and meeting new people. I love my job, believe it or not. I love meeting new people because I'm a people person. Well, I was assaulted, and as a result, I had to have numerous surgeries. And I wasn't bitter. And all my coworkers was like, why are you not angry? Why are you not bitter? Because basically, why would I be bitter? Okay, I understand sometimes we can, but thank God for a great prayer life, a great community of people pouring into me, and a great husband, my helpmate, because he was able to keep me strong because he was a bus operator as well. And so just having that and now still going through the residual of that assault, I have to always go through different detours because I never know when my body is going to not respond the way I wish it would, because things still have to be put back together. So I've had some injuries where it basically injured my back. I'm being a little bit vulnerable, so if I get a little bit choked up, excuse me.
It's okay.
But being able to just go through those detours. I don't call them obstacles. I just call them detours because sometimes we have to go through a detour in order to get to where God has us. But I counted all joy that I was assaulted because I was able to finish my master's and my doctorate simultaneously, being in a wheelchair and being on crutches. So it was a lot for me to do. And then holding the office as the treasurer and the registrar, as well as the secretary of our seminary. So it was great that it kept my mind busy because I wasn't sleeping. So I was able to do research on how to basically build my home-based business full time instead of part time. And this gave me the strength to know that these people that went through other obstacles, I was able to go through it. And that's why I named myself the Breakthrough Financial Strategist, because I've always been enthused about finances because I was taught from a little child, came from a family of entrepreneurs. Even though when you're growing up, you don't look at those little things, but as I continue to grow on and then talk to the last matriarch in our family who's 100 years old, she never had credit. She paid everything on cash, and she raised 8 generations of us in the house that she still has now. So looking at all those little things and her speaking into me and giving me life and putting me back together, because believe it or not, I had fear of getting back on any public transportation because I would have anxiety and I would get a flashback of the whole incident like it's replaying like it just happened yesterday. Even though 21 years ago, I still have some of those anxieties. I still have some of those thoughts. I still fearful because, believe it or not, I died 3 times in surgery. So as a result, just thanking God for where he brought me from, because I know it had to be him. I couldn't depend on the report of doctors. I had to depend on the report of God to allow him to direct my path and let him know what I'm going to do. Because you can't be an instrument or a voice for other people that are broken in order for them to get their breakthrough through until you get your breakthrough. You can be the prescription for that individual that went through the same things that you've gone through. So I'm grateful for the detours of the different things I've had, because you wouldn't believe I had a procedure done on yesterday and I'm sitting before you, and thank God I'm not as much pain as I was earlier today, but I know it's a part of the journey to where I'm going to get to so that I can continue to be an instrument and someone to glean from and mirror for my grandchildren and my children. Even though I have grown children, but I have grandchildren. So now they get their strength from me as well. And then having a loving, supporting husband. I am just so grateful to him because we've been together for 35 years. We've been married for 20 years. So I'm just grateful to him because that makes a difference when y'all can walk the path together and build that legacy together, have that communication, and even having an outside community that just put their arms around you and you're able to go forward.
Yes, I love all of that. Well, thank you for like being vulnerable and sharing your story because I think that it's very important to see that, you know, we all have things going on in life and it is not all peachy king and, you know, whatever you see on the outside, that's what it is. Like a lot of people are struggling with things that, you know, some of us take for granted. You know, I don't have any ailments that slows me down. But that doesn't mean that I have an easier time than what you do, and vice versa. But it is nice for people to see that there are other people maybe dealing with some of the same things that they're dealing with that actually stop them from building their dreams or that home-based business where you are someone that actually was resilient and you pushed through that and you said, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity to do something different because this is what I asked for, even though it may not have come in the way that you wanted it to come. But in the end, you still end up getting what you prayed for, what you asked for. And I think that is very important that people see that, you know, it is possible to have other things, good things come out of maybe something that was not so positive.
Exactly. And like I say, the opportunity that we have, there was times that I got stagnated because you don't have the people to talking to you that you doing to them. You don't get that reciprocated back to you. But I had to make up in my mind. That's why I'm so grateful to Brian Bean, one of my mentors, is because he's always pouring into me when he don't even realize it. And just being in contact with somebody that's so positive that have gone through some things that we may not even know anything about, but just getting that strength and just to see him overcome certain things, like when we went to the event and his father had passed that morning, that was so heartfelt for me because now I know that somebody else is going through similar things that I'm going through as far as, being able to push forward, even though you don't feel like it, you like, this could go on without me, they're not going to miss me for one day. But that's when you perform at your highest level because you allow God's strength to encourage you. You allow his strength to hold you up. Just like Moses' arms was held up for him. So therefore, we just taking on all those strategies and all those different feelings and emotion. That's why you can't be emotional in your business. You can't be emotional dealing with people. You have to see people who they are, but see the good. See me, I see the good in people before they even show me anything different because you're human just like I am. So I know that God is working on each and every one of us. Some people have not arrived where they want to be, but they're not like they used to be. So that's a blessing. And then too, you never know. You can speak a one word into someone's life and that can change all of that around so that they can be better and be more the way they want to be instead of the nasty person. Because let me tell you, I done had some obstacles, boy, where I wanted to literally choke somebody because they rubbed me the wrong way. I had to shake it off. And that's what we have to do. Shake those things off. Like a duck in water, when you're in that shower and that water is going down your back, that's what you have to do with people and their emotions so that your emotions stay intact. So that's a plus. And I'm grateful to you, meeting you face to face, and just talking and just being around our family. That's a great thing too when you're in business to have people that are looking out for you and not being selfish and looking for themselves, because that's what I love about Mr. Brian House, because he does that for us. And he don't have to do that.
Nope.
But he's doing what God has called him to do. And when you're being a good steward, then God is going to bless you so much more abundantly than we could ever conceive and dream of. And that's why you got to keep dreaming. Even though we're grown adults, we still have to keep those dreams alive. And that's what writing helps you do. That's what those affirmations help you do. You repeating them over and over, and then looking at the distractions and the detours as an accomplishment. What lesson am I learning from that incident? What lesson am I going to now give to someone else, especially my team that I'm believing in? So it's good that we're doing that. So I just want to thank each and every one person that's here with us live and that will look at the replay and just, be able to glean some things and change their actions and do the business the way they should do instead of worrying about all the excess noise, and label as such and put under those columns on paper what is causing you noise in your business that's going to prevent you from being great, from you to manifest what the legacy that you desire for your family.
That is exactly it. And I'm glad you touched on emotions because so often we get all flustered and just all these different emotions when we share our information that we have with people and they can't see the value of what it is that we are introducing them to. And it is so easy to get stuck in that headspace of being frustrated or kind of losing your momentum because people aren't seeing it. But like you said, we have to remove those emotions because if not, then we are going to just be like, we're going to stop ourselves from growing because our emotions is going to take over everything, and we're not going to be able to get past that obstacle to reach the next level because really it's not them saying no to us or it's not them saying that our opportunity or services aren't great. It's just that they're not ready that we are offering them emotions.
Exactly. And we got to remember, no is a complete sentence. So don't be going back and trying to badger them or convince them. All we do is expose. You expose people to the information. It's up to them to make the choice because we do have freedom of choice. And once you're able to do that, then people will respect you better because they say, you know what? I said no back then because I wasn't in a place to say yes. I wasn't in a financial space to say yes. And some people are, embarrassed to say that because, in our culture, we want to basically put up that facade, put on facades to think that we're doing great instead of just being truthful with yourself and your peers. It doesn't matter where they are, it's where you want to be and how do you want your family and your children to see you. And that's what I love about my aunt because she keep it real for me. And I'm just like, she doesn't have a care in the world. And you know what? She has no ailments, which is a blessing. And she lives in a two-family house by herself, which we are fearful of. But you know what? Her mind is not 100 years old. It's just like she's still younger than me at times. So I'm grateful for that. And she doesn't let her emotions get in the way. That was the main lesson that I learned from her. Everything that she's been through slavery, picking cotton, all of that made a difference because now I know where I come from. I know Mr. Damo said something last night. Most of us don't know where we come from, but unfortunately for me, I learned in sixth grade who my great aunts were, my great grandparents, my great great grandparents. And I was able to spend time with them, because they were able to live long lives. And that's great because now that may give me confidence that I can live long life, even though I had some detours. So that means that it wasn't my time to go. So I mean that I still have more to share. And I have to learn to do that because I'm gonna tell you a testimony. I had basically just shut down
Mhm.
because I started playing an old record in my head that we ought to be seen and not heard, and that nobody's really listening to you. But what gave me the encouragement was like you and Trevor and the rest of our family that we have to tell our story because no one story is the same. It could be something similar, but it's never the same. And not only that, we can't stop another man's excitement, another woman's excitement. So we have to just keep sharing. And what I do in my business is basically I aspire to get 100 no's all at once, which I know it never happens. I try it. So now I'm not upset any longer when people say no, because I used to get upset. Well, why they don't see? And I used to question myself, well, am I doing something wrong? But as we continue to just pour into ourselves, get the self-development, be a product of the product, then we're now able to explain it more effectively. And I use the acronym PI. You want to make sure that you're operating in principles, integrity, and ethics so that you can eat cake more effectively. So now you're able to tell the world exactly what it is that you have come to do, what you're going to manifest, when you're going to do it. That's why you have to have a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan already written. And I'm so grateful that in Bible school, when I was coming up, we even had to write our own obituary so we wouldn't be fearful of death. And some people, that was hard. At first, it was for me, like, I never talk about myself. And recently I was inducted into the Marquis Who's Who. And so now just reading over my accolades and now being able to reciprocate and tell them, oh, it's like, I never talk about myself, so how am I going to do that? And when they interviewed me, I was able to tell them, but now to put it on paper, it's like, wow, I haven't done this in years. Mm-hmm. Now that all of my accomplishment on paper for others to see, and then you have to condense it, that is a job. That's a choice. So that was one obstacle that I'm able to say that I have accomplished, and I'll be submitting that paperwork by the end of this month, which I am going to do. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful to you for just having this platform and this space for me being able to come and share.
Well, I'm grateful that you said yes. Because I was actually, I figured, because, I do my morning motivation or whatever I want to call it. But I feel like I have a calling to do something more than that. And it was also time to bring other people in because we all have so much value that we have to offer one another, and so many different obstacles, such as your own, and so many different personal stories that other people need to actually hear. So I'm like, it's actually time to do something different, and bring this into the, my little thing that I have going right now. So I'm honored that you actually said yes and you wanted to be a part of it, because I know that I'll definitely be bringing you back around because you have so much stuff to talk about. So I'm super excited to hear about the other things that you have talking about going on. So I definitely want to tap into that. But this is an excellent topic for tonight because it actually touched on a topic that I was talking about yesterday, and how there are so many people who get a college education. And that is awesome. I'm also a college educated person, but I personally did not use my degree for anything after I got it. But it was something that I felt that I needed to have because, one, I've been turned down for job opportunities because I did not have a college degree. So in my mind, I said, I'm not going to allow that to be an obstacle for me anymore. But I'm also seeing that a lot of these jobs are asking for college degrees, but they're not willing to pay you your worth after you get that college degree. So when we're faced with those obstacles, okay, I have this college degree and I have these bills, I have these student loans, I still have life going on, but this job is not actually paying me enough. We then need to go and do something different. And one of those things is a home-based business. So this was right on time because that home-based business positions us to where we can make unlimited income. But if you are constantly either one, fearful that you're not going to be successful, right? Fearful that no one's going to listen to what you have to offer, constantly worrying about what people are going to think of you because it's not your standard 9 to 5, go to work, go back home, you're doing something different. Also life in general, because, we have single moms, we have two parent households. We have just so much life going on, sickness, health, happiness, sadness, all of this stuff are things that could also stop us from being successful in our home-based business. And I feel like that is why so many people who are not already home-based business owners, why they're not, because they have those 3 obstacles that we spoke on. And then the ones that are home-based business owners, they are constantly hitting roadblocks, and they don't know how to get past them to get to the next level. So all the things that you shared was like right on time. And I did have actually one question about when you were driving the bus, and do you see yourself as being able to do your home-based business and driving the bus at the same time?
Well, actually, I was, because believe it or not, I used to bring my my home-based business stuff to work with me,
Okay.
and I used to practice on my coworkers. And at that time, we used to have such a long swing, which our long lunch break. And so I was able to do those things. And being that I'm a people person, I could start a conversation with anybody. And before you know it, you think we were friends. And I remember my mother teaching us that you sometimes have to talk to strangers, so because you never know where you're going to get lost. So early on, she taught us our address, our phone numbers. And it was good that I was able to teach that to my son, because my great aunt that I spoke of, which my great aunt, she started her daycare with my son. So that's a third generation that she started a daycare with. And he was able to basically call 911 for her at age of 3. So that was a blessing, because our youngest child is our miracle child. So I want to make sure that I leave a legacy for him, because if we continue to believe the report of man, then we're never going to succeed. Then we're always going to be stagnated, and we can't do that. So that's why you have to make that determination. I'm going to persevere no matter what, even if I have to call. And that's my motto. I have to live every day as if it's my last, because I don't never know when I'm going to leave. And not only that, when I leave, I want to make sure that I have a clean slate, that I made amends to people that I had to make amends to. Because sometimes when we leave relationship that's not complete, meaning that even though that season may be up for that individual, you have to communicate that person. You know what? I enjoyed you while we had this season, but our season have come to a close. And I want to thank you for just being a part of my season during your season. But I know that our journey, we have come to the fork of the road, and we now must depart. So you have to make sure that that person is feeling great when they leave you, so that this way, if y'all do come back together, and believe you me, you will at some point, you'll be able to just pick up where you left off. And that's the great thing about when you live in with God, the head and the center of your life, and that He's your joy, then you're able to just climb whatever mountain you have to climb. If you have to crawl, if you have to just pull your hand by your hands and just do what you have to do. And I was able to meet, I forget the guy's name, when I was in another financial company, and he had no arms. And he goes around the world and he's speaking, he had no legs. And just to take a picture with him, and if I find it, I'll post it up. But just to sit there and talk to him after the event. That's why it's important when you go to conferences to speak to the speakers after the event. The event after the event is where you get the most information, you get the most poured into. That's why you never go before a great person without a pen and paper or a recording device, because you never know when that mentoring is going to take place. So you have to always be ready. That's why the Bible said, be ye also ready, because you never know what God is going to bless you with, or whose the message is going to come through, because it can come through a child. So that's why I said, out of the mouths of babes shall come forth truth. And so we have to be open to that, so that we can understand where God has us at. Because a lot of us are much older than our years, our numbered years. So when you put all of that into effect, that's why each and every one of us should be writing a book of our experiences, so that this way we can be there for you. And just like Adrena Elliott said, sometimes strangers are our biggest cheerleaders, which is true. I had so many cheerleaders that I never knew or spoke to until I spoke on live. And they were in my inboxes rooting me on when they didn't see me. Listen, I'm praying for you, not knowing what's going on. But that was the biggest thing that helped me on my journey, because I'm like, wow, a stranger that don't even know me can root me on, but people that see me and have touched me, have talked to me on the phone, can't even pick up the phone and say, sis, I'm praying for you. I'm not calling to find out what's going on, but I'm just calling to let you know I'm still on your corner. And when you're ready, I'm here to push you on, but I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to hold you by the hand. Even though you may not be able to carry yourself, I'm going to help carry you along this journey.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is an excellent point. The strangers who are the people that's reaching out to you for to check on you to make sure you're okay. And it's unfortunate because sometimes that is the only time that people see support, and that is from people that they've never met before because they have negative, toxic people in their families or their partners or just the people around them. They have no support. So sometimes you have to go online, social media, or network with other people, strangers, right? Because those are going to be the people that, one, you may look to as motivation to go to the next level because you have not seen that before in the people that are directly connected to you. So when you see other people doing awesome things and you see that you are in position to go right down that path and be just as successful, it's kind of like an aha moment, right? Where we're like, this is what I've been looking for, you know? And also, when you have that support from outside sources, you also kind of gravitate towards those people. And it also lets you know that it is okay to be an awesome person because there are other awesome people out here in the world just like us. So that's always a blessing when you actually get back what you pour into other people and see that people genuinely do care about you, even if it's coming from people that are not necessarily your family or blood people.
Exactly. And what I found out and have come to learn, I have had more friendship that wasn't blood, that's more blood to me than anything else because we just that tight, that you're kindred spirits. And that's what God has us all here. We're all each other's sisters and brothers, no matter the color, the relationship, religion, anything. We're all running that race because it is not a race, it's a sprint. So we all sprinting together. And once we come to that realization that we're here for, then I believe that the world will be a better place. Even though right now during this pandemic, it seems like we have gone 50 years backwards, but we have to also look at the whole situation from the eyes that God will have us look at it and see, well, what part am I playing in it?
Mhm.
What part do he have? What assignment do he have for me during this time? Am I supposed to utilize my platform, which you said yes to God, even though you know it was, you thought maybe it was your own thought, but actually it was God that he impregnated that thought because he knew us before we were even formed in our mother's bosom and womb. So we have to make sure that we do everything that is quickened within us because when we get ideas, that's a quickening from God that he's given us that new idea. So if we don't bring it to fruition, then we're not being a good steward. We're telling God, I don't believe you. Take that back. I don't want that. That's why when some people die, they go, it's a graveyard full of undeveloped dreams, aborted dreams. That's why I tell people, I'm not on my watch will you miscarry, abort, or go overdue with your dreams. Because even during my pregnancy, I was 2.5 weeks overdue and in labor during that time. So I thank God that he didn't allow my son to die because usually it's a gestation period of when we're supposed to be in the darkness, which is the womb, so that when we come into the marvelous light, now we have that aha moment. Now we come here with a desire and a dream to go forth. And that's what we have to do. And we have to learn as we learn that we can't always say no to our children. We have to explain to them why we're saying no. It means not now. It doesn't mean no completely, but not right now, just this moment, because there are some things that you have to learn going according to this journey. So I'm just so grateful for that. And that's to be able to be here in the land of the living.
That's exactly it. Me too.
Exactly. Because so many people are waiting for our story to be told for them to say, you know what, I can do that too. I can be more than prosperous. Like I would say the last 5 years have been surreal for me
Mhm.
because so many things that I wrote down, but they weren't supposed to come for years to come, but they all came at one time, and it was a bit overwhelming. But I thank God for when they came, because I was ready for it, even though I thought I wasn't. But it's not my thinking that I have to depend on. It's about God. It's not about me.
Right. Don't let that ego get in the way, right?
Hello. That's right. And don't let the butt get in the way, because a lot of times we'll put our butt in the way because we are negate. We have to realize that butt in a sentence negate everything that you said prior to the positivity that you've spoken. So you have to be cognizant of the things you speak, because it's life and death is in the power of that tongue, that little thing in our mouths that will cause life or death to someone, either spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, and financially. That's why you never supposed to speak bad about your finances. Even though your finances may not be at the pinnacle that you want it to be, long as you be thankful for the thing that you have at that moment, and then God will give you the increase. Because a lot of times we will get money and not realize that we're not ready for the abundance that God has blessed us with. Because I tell you, money for me is not a motivator in a business. Because I just like help. I like what money can do to help people, because I'm a spring personality. I love helping people. I love to see people win. So if they're not winning and if they're down, I'm down, because I'm an empath. I'm intuitive. So I can feel your feelings before you even say anything out your mouth. I'm a good reader of people, because, you just a mirror of me. And I see myself in a lot of people that I come in contact with. So that's a blessing too, that when you can see yourself in other people and make those changes necessary. Sometimes there's no changes to be made at all, but just to be grateful, just to show that moment of gratitude. And when you speak in constant gratitude in your own life, then you're able to effectively speak it into someone else's, and now it's being reciprocated back to you. And now you're like, wow, Lord, I never knew that I would get here. Or Lord, wow, I never knew that you would answer those prayers that quickly, or the thought. Because sometimes I have to be careful of my thoughts, because that's how God was manifesting things for me. And I was like, wow. And even the prophecies, growing up in church, the prophecies that I received, I was like, wow, they don't know me from Adam. Okay, Lord, this is you. Okay. But you have to have that discernment too when dealing with people. And that's what I'm grateful about. Discernment, my energy, and the attitude and my emotions, that I'm able to speak positive to other people. So again, family, those of you that are watching live, we truly appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts. And we pray that something that we said here on tonight will encourage you to get up and take up whatever cross that you have, and just carry it with you, and make sure that you speaking positively into someone else's life, and watch the turnaround come about in your own life.
That is exactly it. That is it. Because we don't know what haters are. Those don't exist
Hello.
in our life. All we know is positivity, support for one another, speaking greatness. Because we live in a country where there's hate all around us, where there's negative things going on all around us. History, that is what we are accustomed to, but we don't have to keep that going. We could change that way of thinking, way of life, things that we are accustomed to. It does not have to be what we are used to or the way things used to be. So it definitely has to start somewhere. So definitely it can start with us, because this is two positive ladies right here. And I know that we are connected to so many other positive people in our organization with the Extra Digit movement. Dr. Turner, let them know where they can find you, what your social media platforms is, and just give them like a quick elevator pitch, I guess, of what it is that you actually do for your home-based business.
Well, for my home-based business, I am the CEO and founder of Rich Ministries Prophetic and Prayer Group on Facebook, where you can find me. Also, I'm the CEO and founder of Living Financially Prosperous LLC, getting ready to start another LLC through our company, which I'm grateful for, as well as I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Excellence Incorporated. You can find me on Twitter at Regina A. Turner, and on LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, as well as IG is Dr. Regina A. Turner. And I specify the A because there are so many Dr. Regina Turners out there. I want to make sure that you know the one that I am. My brand is Wealth God's Way, so that we could continue to operate in the will of God, and that I would just share with other people the biblical principles that God has put before us to manifest wealth in each other's life in order to leave a legacy for our family.
Excellent. Guys, check out Ms. Dr. Regina Turner on her social media platforms. Also, her other businesses that she has going, because she is just an awesome person to be connected with. I'm so grateful that she's my sister in success, and that we are in this financial empowerment movement, helping so many people improve their lives with complete financial makeovers, showing them how to increase their cash flow, get that income up so that they can actually start creating, leaving a legacy that you spoke about earlier for their children, their grandchildren, whoever they're leaving behind, versus that generational debt that we have been accustomed to thinking that we're supposed to live with, that we are definitely not supposed to be living with. So yes, I'm just so honored that you actually gave me some of your time tonight and you shared this information with everyone who's watching. And just to do a quick recap for anyone who missed the beginning of it, and we, the three obstacles that we spoke on, Dr. Regina Turner talked about fear, what people think, and then life is another obstacle, as well as emotion. So guys, check out the replay if you missed the beginning of it. Also, if you are looking for a home-based business opportunity, get back with Dr. Regina Turner or myself, and we can get you some additional information on what it is that we're doing to empower those with their finances and teaching them strategies and solutions that they are not teaching in our education system, because they want us to remain employees versus wealthy, successful people. And I'm going to have Dr. Regina Turner back at some point. And we're gonna have another conversation about something different. So just be on the lookout for that, because this is going to be every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We are going to talk about it. So Let's Talk About It is the name of this live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So if you feel like you have a topic that you want to talk about, or it's something that we should actually start paying attention to, reach out to me so that we can get you up here on this platform to speak your mind. And it doesn't just have to be one person at a time. So if there are a few people, so Dr. Turner, if you want to come back, if we have a topic that you have some subject matter expertise in, please let me know. And, we could all get together with a few of us and actually have a discussion on that topic. Sounds good?
It sounds awesome. And it's just so ironic that you said that. We do have some women that want to come back and speak on your show so that we could, emphasize more what they are not taught in school, so that our children can start to glean and start to take notes early. And one thing I want to leave with the audience, if anyone hasn't told you today, God loves you and so do we, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Have a blessed and prosperous evening, and just love on someone today. If you haven't told them, call someone up that's been in your mind, because God has planted them on your mind. So go ahead and call them and speak life into them, because you never know what they're going through. So that's my take, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, thanks for closing us out, Dr. Turner. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening. Good night, guys. And I'll be back tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. for morning motivation. Also, mark your calendars, because we have some big things with our financial empowerment movement that's going to be up. So, as you know, Dr. Turner, we always have our Wealth Watch Party on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So guys, tune in for that. I'll actually drop the link in the comments. Also, after that, we are starting our Mayhem week tomorrow. And we are going to, not us two, but our organization is going to talk about leaving money on the table, and how you can stop leaving money on the table. And that is at 9:30 tomorrow. And then Miss Tarsha, she reminded me, she's so funny. But
Yes,
also the book club. I have a book
yes.
club. Right now it's called the Shaya's Book Club. It's been not very witty, but maybe I'll come up with another name for it. But join the book club because we are
Yes.
reading a lot of personal growth and self-development books. Last month, we actually read The 5 Second Rule with Mel Robbins, and Saturday is our next virtual meetup where we are talking, or where we're reading Who Moved My Cheese, which is an
All
awesome.
right. I love that book.
So, Dr. Turner, if you want to join us on Saturday at 7 p.m., I can get you the link for that, because we're going to just be talking about our takeaways from the book on Saturday via Zoom. So that'll be fun. That was fun the last time as well. But yes, so thank you for your closing remarks. Meet up with us tomorrow because we have a lot of financial education
Yes.
literacy solutions lined up 8:30, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be back again with another topic. But be on the lookout for next week. Let's talk about it at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. So guys, have a safe
Absolutely.
and awesome evening. Do you have anything else to say, Dr. Turner?
Oh, I do have a prayer call that I have Monday. I go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have someone doing Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursday in our prayer group. So if anyone want to join my prayer group, you're more than welcome. I'll put that in the comments. And I'm also a published co-author as well. So maybe we can read our book. That would be great as well. So it's been a plum pleasing pleasure to speak with you all tonight. So I'm just grateful. Have a blessed night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.